Hey gamers, today we're looking at Papua. Let's check it out. Set for the game, each player gets their own player shield. They'll start with 8 meeples. They'll have 3 coin and 3 fish to start things off. You'll shuffle these cards, give one out to every player. It basically gives them a special ability. You'll just read what that special ability is and then play the game. You're going to shuffle this deck, this stack of tokens here. You're going to put your huts right here over on this section here. You're going to put your hearts right here where it has the heart icon there on the 50 there. And then you're going to be shuffling both the 1 and the 2 deck there. You're using the 1 deck as you see for this first half, and then you'll switch to the 2 deck once someone passes that 25. After that, you're all set to go. You're going to determine who the first player is. It's usually the person who's on top. The person on the bottom gets to block any space they want, so they would choose, in this case it would be the person on the bottom, which would be yellow. If there's always a tie, the one on the bottom is last. The one on the top wins the tiebreaker. And they'll place this over one of the areas here, 6 areas here, and block that action out. So maybe they want to just block that one out, or this one, or whatnot. Anyway, once that's done, then you're going to deal out 3 cards into these spaces here on the board, 3 tokens here on the board here as well. And then, of course, you're going to deal out 1 of these cards right like that. And you are ready to start the game. How the game starts is every player will roll 5 die. And as they roll the die, if they get any of these little emblems, those are bad. That's going to get rid of one of your meeples that you can use and put it back into your player pool. If you want to avoid that, for each of these die you roll, you can just pay 1 of these coins and save your meeple from going over there, or maybe you don't have it, or you want to save your coin for whatever reason, and you, either way you'd lose the meeple or lose coin. Now, what other things coin can do, coin can let you re-roll any die if you want to re-roll a die, plus they can add or take away pips on a die. So what if out of these 5 I really wanted a 2? Well, I could pay 1 coin to the bank and flip that to a 2, or pay another coin to flip it to a 1 if I needed to go to a 1. Now from there, I would be able to allocate any of my meeples to that area equal to the number of dice I have. So for instance, if I have a 1 and there is no 1 yet selected yet, I'd take the number 1 token, place in the area I want to go. So let's say I want to go here, and place, since I only have 1 die, 1 meeple there. For instance, for 4, since I'm going first, I can decide who's going to get 4. I place 4 here, and since I played 2 die there, I can put 2 meeples there. Now, I can put 1 there, and that's fine too, but the maximum I can put there is 2. Anytime you're placing meeples on the board, though, you are expending energy and you're moving down the track. Now, that's very important because in the case of a tie, whoever has the most energy is going to win that section. So when the second player goes, what they're going to be doing, and let's say yellow goes next, and maybe they don't pay $1 for that one. Now they have 2 1s. Well, 1 is already this. So if they don't want to go there, then these are no good for them unless they pay a coin to re-roll them. The 2 and the 3 haven't been defined, so maybe they put the 2 there and the 3 up here and place a meeple by each of these. And that's basically how it goes. These sections will always change up depending on where that first player is going to roll, or where those first die are going to be allocated on the player board. Now let me show you what each section does. The hut section here, I guess any player can do this, but you have to at least place 1 meeple in the first 2 times, 2 meeples the next 2 times, and 3 meeples the last time to slowly upgrade basically your board. So for example, if both players had at least 1 here, they would both move their colored huts to the next spot over here, all for here. That means now they're going to get, both green and yellow will get a bonus man for next time, and they roll 6 die instead of 5. And as you see, you keep getting bonus men. But again, if they wanted to get those 2 bonus men, let's say it was green player and they'd have to play, they're already here, they'd have to play 2 green to be able to get 2 more for the next round. And of course, in that case, they start rolling 8, then 9, then 10 as you keep going. And after that, I guess you're done. The next one here is you get to pick one of these bonus tokens. They're very self-explanatory, but you can look at the rules. If you need explanations, this is 6 victory points. That's 3 more on the heart. You can go up on your power there. You have, this one just gives you a victory point, a coin, and a fish. So, and then if you ever get this one, basically you're just going to reshuffle all the already used or discarded tokens back into the stack and start all over again. But in this case, green would go first since they had two people there, so they pick maybe this one, and yellow would go next, and maybe they pick that one. And then they utilize them, they go to discard, and you deal out more for the next round. How the coins work is very simple here. It says, hey, you're going to look at this card up here. This card will either have a plus, equal, or minus. And that's going to tell you, by rolling 3 die, I'm going to either add by the highest, the middle die, or the lowest die. So, for example, all right, so I rolled a 5, 5, and 2. Very good. But that's a minus. That means the lowest of these 3, which was 2. So now I'm going to get 2 coins plus any meeples I put here. So that's 2 more. So I would gather 4 coins for that round. If it had been the plus over on this card, then I would have gotten 5 plus 2, which would have been great. I could have gotten 7 coins that round. But again, this market will change depending on what emblem is on that card. Now, scooting it over for fish, how it works is depending on how many meeples you put down there, that's how many dice you're going to roll. And as you roll them, you're going to separate the highest from the lowest. Now, if I rolled this, that counts as a 1. So it'd be 1 minus 4 is 3, plus any meeples I have, 4, 5. So that means I would be able to get 5 fish. So what are fish used for? Well, as you see here, you have to give them up certain amounts of fish, 2, 3, 4, and 5, as you pass each section. If you do not have that, then you're going to have to pay a man for each section you passed up by not paying the fish. So I didn't have 4 fish, so I have to give up 3 men, which would be brutal in this game. So you definitely want to make sure you're stocked full of fish. The other section is up here, and of course whoever has the most meeples, ties are decided by whoever's higher on this power track. And that's for any of these options here. They would get the card. They could do the special action and then take this in behind their player shield. This will count for victory points at the end of the game. The only semi-complicated spot on the board is this one over here. So any and all players will place their people here, and they'll get to do a bid on 1 or all 3 of these cards, depending on what they want. So behind their player shield, with whatever meeples they have left, they're going to line them up in line with whatever card they're looking for. Maybe they want all 3. They put some meeples here, here, and here. They can also put coin next to those meeples, but they're going to lose that coin after the auction. What does coin do? It breaks ties. Now, what if everyone is it still a tie? Well, then you go again to the power track and who has the most power, and that would be a tiebreaker. But in this case, bidding, ties will also break. And what you do, you put them behind your player shield and then flop your player shield down. And as you see, your meeples should line up with the area of what they're bidding for, and the winners would take such cards. Now, what are these cards for? Well, again, they're for in-game victory points. At the end of the game, these little 1 and 2 journals, the more you have of them, the more victory points you get. Or if you have more of the same, they can net you some victory points. Or if you have multiple different types, it can net you some huge victory points. Now again, this card would not be able to count for the same of this card. So it's either or you mix and match to try to get the most victory points out of each one. So how's the game end? Well, the game ends when someone reaches 0 or goes into the negative spot. If they go into the negative spot, they're also going to be losing coin and victory points at the end of the game. So you kind of want to time it just right and be at 0 by the time the game ends. After that's done, you're going to add up any points over here on your player board. You may have gotten a few points in between, so you already may have some points, but this is where all the big points comes in. Comes in from these exploration cards, from those little notebook cards, and as you see over here in the corner of your player board, every 3 coins equals 5 points, every 2 fish equals 1 point, any one with leftover energy, 3 energy would give you a point, and any leftover meeples there would give you a victory point. And whoever has the most victory points wins. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Did I pronounce it right? I don't care. When I first got this game, I thought, yeah, this is a game right up my alley. And then I played it. It is an awful 2-player game. Awful. Do not play with 2 players. Does it even suggest 2 players on here? Yeah, 2 to 4. No. You want to do 3 to 4. That's where the sweet spot is. 2-player game is awful because first game we played was actually 2 players, and I was just blocking my nephew out of all these spots, and I was just running. I ran away with it. We didn't even add up the points because I had killed him on points. I probably lapped him at least once in points. It's just really stupid. So yeah, not good at 2 players. But 3 to 4 man, the board starts getting tight. You start fighting for stuff. Yeah, it's really fun. I like how the dice placement areas are always different each time, and it depends on whoever's first player is the person that decides, I'm going to roll 1s. And everyone's trying to get 1s. Coins, that's another thing about the game I'm not so sure about. Like, I don't like that everyone can get the HUD action. Like, it makes no sense. Everyone did the HUD action until we were all done, and then no one needed the HUD action ever again. It's useless after that point. So are fish. Because if you ever get, I forgot to mention this in the game, but if you ever have to back up past a fish track, when you cross it for a second time, do you have to pay the fish again? I thought maybe that's why you probably need to stack up on fish. No, once you pass it and pay the fish, that's it. So all you need is, what, 12, 13, 14 fish, and that's it? You don't have to go to the fish spot anymore. The fish spot becomes non-relevant. Everyone raced there for a short time, and there's 2 dead areas that no one wants to go to. And so, you know, we were just kind of, the player who had the weakest amount of points places that little X. It moved from the hut to the fish, to the hut to the fish, because those were places no one was going toward the end of the game. That's a little bit of a downer for this. I won't deny that. Other than that, though, I like the idea. Now, it's coming out with a reprint. I don't know if the rules are going to be different. But that was something that was disappointing, because 2 of the areas you're really going at it at the very beginning, or maybe toward the middle, and for fish or whatnot when you see you need them. But after that, you never utilize again. And the other places like coin, oh man, you'll be fighting for coin. And of course, fighting for those cards, because those are in-game victory points. I noticed the little token one, people would go to every once in a while to get some extra bonuses, but there was no rush to get there. So there's definitely urgency for half of those spaces. And, you know, like I said, the other 2 are kind of a bust toward the end. And 1 is, it's there if you have nothing else to do. Sometimes you don't even want to place a worker, though, because you want to stay first player. And I've done that, too. What happens if you run out of meeples? Someone almost ran out of meeples. They kept losing them and then started getting coin. I mean, some of those tokens would give you some extra meeples, too. But, yeah, once you run out, I guess you could be eliminated from the game, too. I don't know. A few red flags on this one. It's unknown whether this one is staying in my collection or not, because yes, I enjoyed it, but that's a lot of red flags. And I got a lot of games. I don't need games with red flags. So, no, I can't recommend it, but it is a neat idea, a neat concept. I mean, I'm gonna try it again, staying in the collection for now, but will it be here forever? Who knows? All right, gamers, that's it for now. Till next time, game on!